You know, we are so out of touch. And we're out of touch because we don't realize we're out of touch. See? Everybody thinks they're in the process of being in touch. But just now I was reading Daf 109 in Tractate Sanhedrin, and about something else, and then I all of a sudden see that Abraham's servant, since his mother died, slept on the ground every night. Didn't sleep in a bed. And then I realized, I looked all we have is like bed and furniture. And I've slept in a bed all comfortable up, warmed up, my whole life. And then I remembered some of my big matches 45 years ago. I came off the floor. I had to stay in somebody's house on the floor, or and one night I once had a big win after coming out of a van with a lot of people. And then we wonder why we're not in touch with the Shekinah. Our beds are elevated off the ground. The Grund, German. How can we establish with the Shekinah, which is the ground itself? And when we go to sleep, we're looking to have a union. And sleep is 1/60th of death. And when we're dead, we go under the ground. We attach to the ground. And that's the burial. It's the ground. They don't put a bed there. And if you want to attach with the Shekinah, with the mother principle, then you sleep on the floor. It's bad enough I live on the 10th floor because, as I told you, I believe that Judaism is an agricultural religion. In an agricultural religion, you'd sleep on the ground. In a city religion, you would elevate off that ground, and that's a bed. And the bed, and we're so locked in that we think the bed is proper, you know? And that made up sheets and everything. And that's how we've lost touch. There's been a few days since Shavuos, and we're still in that Shavuos week. And Shavuos is 50. And 50 is the number of the Shekinah. And it just so happens to be the same gematria as Adamah. And Adamah, the hay added, is the ground. The Shekinah for Adam is the Adamah, the ground. And an agricultural concept. Get back to the earth. You know how everybody wants to go off the grid? Well, it's tough to go off the grid. Start by going off your bed. Don't tell me about the dream of going to cuckoo land. You know, where they have, water power, sunlight power, compost. Just get off your bed, sleep on the floor for a while. Go off the grid, within the grid. I'm going to repeat that. Off the grid, within the grid. Get in touch with what you can hear. Sleep on the floor. Sleep is 1/60th of death. So emulate dead positions, floor, ground. This is a very important thing because you make great contact with the Yud-K, Vav-K name in sleep when your body is kind of like dead. Then the Yud-K, Vav-K name comes in. The body is, quite frankly, the Elohim name. So I've said before that I think sleep is the primary state. And in a deep Freudian sense, that's where you get dreams and understanding and linkages. But you get more of your unity with Yud-K, Vav-K in sleep. And that's why you wake up refreshed and ready to go with new ideas. And, you know, most writers or anybody does things when they wake up in the morning. You know, start the new day because you've received a new soul, new spark of your soul, and new ideas to what to do during that day. So I want to be on the ground to get even more of these stimulating new ideas from the Shekinah union with me. Isn't that what we want to do? Bring the Shekinah back to the temple of our bodies, the third temple, the body itself. You won't be worried about the temple in Yerushalayim when the Shekinah comes back to you in your body. It is very important. And this is part of my process of reestablishing Judaism in an agricultural sense, in land sense, in ground, in Grund, in the German sense, German philosophers. And so, now, you're supposed to do that during Sukkot, you know. I never, you know, holier than thou, I never slept in a sukkah. And that's why I'm not attached. I wish I did now, and I will coming up. And so, this is a very important concept. Because, you know, I've said before, I think I'm always in a sukkah. I think this life is impermanent. I have this apartment. Who needs it, to tell you the truth? All the people in the city are slaves to the landlords at ridiculous rents. These rents are not $35 a month anymore, you see. So, you're still a slave in Egypt, the 6 days of the week. So start by just recognizing that you're not, instead of sleeping on the floor, recognize that you're not sleeping on the floor. And then you can start recognizing some other things that you don't do. You see? About food. Things like that. What would be a primary thing? From the ground or from an animal? I'm not going to tell you. Another thing that I was going to talk about yesterday was that, you know, I ate home with my family here, my parents and brother, for 70 years. We didn't eat out. I didn't want the evil eye. And when you eat out in restaurants, you get the evil eye because they're there to make a profit. And so I didn't want profits being made on my food. The reason why was 45 years ago when I was playing tennis, and actually I remember the restaurant I was in. It was a small restaurant right outside of Monte Carlo where all the guys went for dinner. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and then I saw them bringing my salad. And the owner of the restaurant took a leaf out of the salad because it was too much and put it in another salad where there wasn't as much. So in other words, he was measuring leaves and giving me less so he could make up and not have to go out and take another leaf from his portions. That's the way they think when they're bringing me food. So I don't go to restaurants as such. I don't enjoy it. Food is a bracha for me, and that's brachos. First tractate that you really learn is brachos, because food is so important from the earth and from your body. And that's Judaism, when you recognize that. The intake of food. Simple stuff. Not whether this or that, or which prayers. The simple stuff. Recognizing that food is what you're doing 3 times a day, and water, and how you sleep. So, I'm going to be sleeping on the floor a little bit. And getting in touch with the Shekinah, which is the earth.